welcome to the Black Corner. We have not been on the Black Corner in a long time, but we are here today. And today in Black History, we are going to spotlight Harry and Harriette Moore. Harry Moore was an elementary school teacher. He taught in Florida, Brevard County. I'm not sure if I am pronouncing that. Don't destroy me. I am not from Florida, so I don't know if it's Brevard or Brevard. I'm going to say Brevard County. So he was an elementary school teacher there. He taught fourth grade. There is where Harry met Harriette. They fell in love. She also was a former teacher, but when he met her, she was selling insurance. They fell in love. They married, and they decided to further their education. So they both went back to school. They went to an HBCU, Bethune-Cookman College, and they graduated, and then they both went back to teaching because that was their love, was teaching. In 1934, Harry and Harriette Moore founded the Brevard County chapter of the NAACP. Harry worked for the NAACP at Brevard County for over a decade, unpaid, while he continued to teach his regular job. Harriette continued to teach as well while they volunteered for the NAACP. Harry was very involved. Harry ended up doing so many things for the NAACP throughout that decade that he worked for them. He investigated lynchings. He tried to break down barriers to voting registration. He advocated for equal pay for Black teachers in Brevard County in the public school system. He did so much. One of the biggest things that he did, and this didn't come with a price, right? Like, if the Moors are out here investigating lynchings, if they're out here trying to register African Americans to vote, if they're trying to get equal pay, these folks were causing trouble in Florida, or what, racists would say, causing trouble, being uppity, not being in their place, but it didn't deter them. They did what they did. So in 1937, Harry decided to bring a lawsuit for equal pay because, again, they were both teachers in the public school system and they weren't getting paid the same as their white counterparts. So they brought a suit, and guess who represented them? You guessed it, Thurgood Marshall. So Thurgood Marshall helped Harry Moore bring this suit against Brevard County for equal pay, for Black teachers to get equal pay. The lawsuit failed initially, but they kept appealing, and it eventually led to equal pay in Brevard County public school systems for the Black teachers. So that's that. That was in 1937. So that was a win. But Harry continued. Like, this wasn't all of Harry's activism. Like, Harry and Harriette, they were a bad couple, bad as in bad, good couple, where they didn't take any mess. So in 1949, Harry got heavily involved in the Groveland rape case. So the Groveland rape case took place in Groveland, Florida. It involved 4 young Black men who were accused of raping a white woman. Kind of sounds like Central Park, right? Yeah, this happened over and over throughout the South. No evidence. It was just, they did it, right? So they were accused of raping this white woman. So Harry Moore led a campaign to get these 4 men released. And eventually his campaign, I didn't know what his campaign involved. I'm sure it was a lot of protesting. I'm sure it had a lot of the NAACP attorneys involved. But it was led by Harry, and they eventually got the case overturned. They eventually got the convictions overturned. Oh no, the whites didn't like that. Again, Harry was just putting himself in all kinds of business. But, that is what the NAACP did. It was there to help the black community, help them get treated fairly, to bring the lawsuits, to investigate the lynchings. This is what they did. So that case ended up being overturned, but the Supreme Court in 1951, 49-53, 2 years later, the Supreme Court granted an appeal. So they had to go back to trial the Groveland Four. So while they were doing pretrial hearings, a sheriff was driving two of the defendants back or from the pretrial hearings, decided to take justice in his own hands, because that's, again, what they did back then. They took the justice in their own hands, or what they thought was justice, or what they made justice, and he shot both of the defendants. One, I believe, died, and the other one ended up in critical condition. This is the thing that really set off the racists in Florida, this Groveland case, because, if you touch a white woman, if you look at a white woman, there's a problem. So if Harry was involved with trying to get these young men off, and did get the first case overturned, and then it had to go to appeal, the white people did not want it to go to appeal, the white races, so they just took matters in their own hands and shot two of the defendants. 6 weeks later, after that incident happened, on Christmas Day, which was also the Moors' 25th anniversary, a bomb had been planted underneath Harry and Harriette's bed, and the bomb exploded, sending Harry to the hospital. He died en route, and Harriette died 9 days later. No one was charged with planting this bomb, but I do believe that a half a century later, that they identified the KKK members who did plant the bomb, but a little too late, isn't it, right? Did I mention that let's just back up for a minute. They were also fired from their jobs. Like, they were fired for their activism. So even before they got heavily involved in the NAACP, they were fired from their jobs. But where was I? At the time of Harry and Harriette's murder, Florida had the highest number of registered voters, more than any southern state. In fact, the Florida NAACP, their members grew to 10,000 people, and they had 63 chapters throughout Florida. So the Moors were definitely putting work in, and they paid the ultimate price for their work. In 1952, the NAACP did award Harry Moore a Distinguished Medal of Honor for being an outstanding African American, or something of that nature. But anyway, that is the story of Harry and Harriette Moore. Just another chapter in Black history where Black people helping the community, trying to have a voice, trying to fight against racism, trying to fight against lynching, trying to protect their brothers and sisters, and the KKK of terror snuffs out the life, right? Just gone, just like that. So that is the story of the Moors. Thank you for coming to the Black Corner. Not all stories will be sad. And honestly, you know what? This is not really a sad ending, right? It's not. It's a lesson. It's not a sad ending. It is a lesson for us. It is a lesson to show us the strength, the fierceness of our ancestors, that, you know, we don't stop. I'm pretty sure that the Moors knew the danger. They knew the danger of registering black voters. They knew the dangers of investigating lynchings. They knew the dangers of fighting for equal pay. It was worth it. It's worth the fight. And that's the same as now. We have to fight, no matter how hard it is. Because no matter how hard it is for us, it is absolutely not as hard as it was for them and for the Moors. So think about that when it's time to vote. You think about the Moors and the other civil rights activists that shed blood so that we can be where we are today. Thank you.